Good morning students. In this video session, I am going to teach about the building blocks of algorithm. That is nothing but how to write a algorithm. What are the things you have to use while writing the algorithm. So there are 4 important blocks are there to write the algorithm. These 4 blocks are called as building blocks of algorithm. Okay. So the first block is statements. Okay, the statement is divided into 2 types of statements. I will explain later. First, I will give the overview. Okay, the statements are divided into 2 statements. One is simple statement, another one is compound statement. Then what is state? Then you have to know what is control flow. Again, the control flow is divided into 3 things: sequential control flow, selection control flow, then iteration, then function. Function is divided into 2 things. One is predefined function and user defined function. First we see about what is statements. Statements are nothing but it's a combination of instructions or segment of code. What is instruction? What is instruction? Instruction are nothing but command given to the computer what it want to do. Through your input you are controlling the computer through the command. For example, Control C, if you press the keyword in the keys Control plus C, it will copy the content. Control plus A, it will copy the it will select the content. Like that you are giving the commands. Your instructions are nothing but commands given to the computer what it want to do. So statements are nothing but it's a collection of instructions. Statements are nothing but it's the collection of instruction. That means segment of code. What is segment of code? It's a collection of commands or collection of instructions. Okay. Then your statement is divided into 2 types. One is simple statement, another one is compound statement. What is simple statement? For example, A equal to B or A equal to 10. It's a single line command or single statement. That is nothing but you are assigning the value 10 to the A. A is a variable, you are assigning the value 10 to the variable. Like that, if the statement ends with a single line, if a statement ends with a single line, we say it is a simple statement. Okay, simple statement consists of single statement like return, go to, A equal to 10, initialization, like that. Similarly, compound statement is nothing but it consists of more than one statement. For example, we see later. Okay, so compound statement is nothing but it consists of more than one statement. For example, if A greater than B. For example, the meaning is if is a condition, you are checking A is greater than B. If the condition true means you have to print A is big. So see here, inside the if another one statement is are coming. 2 statements are there. That's what we say it is a compound statement. Okay. Simple statements means only one line of code. Compound statement means more than one line of code will be there. Inside the particular statement, another code will be there. For example, for, while loop, if conditions, else, all these comes under the compound statements. The next one is state. What is state here? Anyone, what is state? State is nothing but each and every action in the algorithm. Each and every action in an algorithm is called state. For example, your starting position, that is initial state. Then you are giving the input, that is input state. Then your calculation is going on, processing state. Then it will be ended, end state. Like that, each and every action in the algorithm is called as state. For example, initial state, end state, input state. Okay. The next main important thing is control flow. Control flow is the important building blocks in the algorithm. Okay. So what is control flow? It's nothing but flow of control. Okay, we say in which instruction want to be executed. This control flow only determine the order of instruction want to be executed. Which instruction want to be executed? It should be determined by the control flow. Okay. There are three types of control flows are there. One is sequential control flow, the next one is selection control flow, and the third one is iteration control flow. Okay, what is control flow? It's the order in which the instruction want to be executed. The sequential control flow. Okay, so there are three types of control flows are there. The first one is sequential control statement or sequential control flow statement. Okay, so what is sequential control statement? What is sequence? Sequence means order. It should be in the order. So the first statement, after that second statement will be executed, then third statement, one by one in the order it will be executed. Sequential statement, sequential control flow is nothing but the instruction will be executed in order, in the proper sequential order. Okay, this is the first statement will be executed, then the second statement will be executed, like that one by one executed. See this example, so you will get the clear idea about the sequential. See, first this is the example to find the average of your marks. You want to calculate the mark, then you have to find the average. So here I am going to take 3 marks as input. Okay, 3 marks I am taken as the input, then I want to find the total, then I want to find the average. So what are the steps? First, get or read 3 marks, then you have to calculate addition of 3 marks, then you have to divide and get the average. This is the step, right? So first step, start. See the second step, read the value of 3 marks, M1, M2, M3. What is this M1, M2, M3? M1, M2, M3 are variables. So these 3 are the variables. Inside that some marks will be stored. We can't able to store the values directly. We need variables to store the numbers. That's the reason I am taking M1, M2, M3. Used to store the marks. Then calculate the total. So how you calculate the total? You have to add the marks. So M1 plus M2 plus M3. The answer will be stored inside the variable total. Now the answer will be present inside the total. Inside the total, some answer will be there. Then you have to calculate the average. How you calculate the average? Total marks divided by number of subjects. Here how many number of subjects are there? 3 number of subjects. What's the total mark? For example, 150. So 150 divided by 3, you will get 50%, right? So the average, inside the average you will get 50%. Now you want to print what's the total mark and what's the average mark. So print total and average, then stop the code. So here how the algorithm is executed? Step by step. Okay, after this step, this is executing, after this is executing, after this, in the order, sequential order, the statements are executing. This type of execution of control flow is called as sequential control flow statements. Okay, the next one is selection control flow. Selection control flow statements. Okay, so in the selection control statement is nothing but, in the selection control flow, there should be one condition. You have to check one condition. Depend upon the condition, the choices will be or the actions will be selected. So for example, in the previous video section, I given one simple example. How to find the number is positive or negative. If the value is greater than, if your value is greater than 0 means positive, less than 0 means negative. How to find the odd number or even number? If the number is divided by 2 and you get the remainder 0 means even number. If you get the other values as remainder means it is the odd number. So one condition, this is the condition symbol. Okay, this diamond box is the decision. We say it is a decision symbol. Okay, so there only we have to write the condition. Okay, for example, x greater than 0. Okay, if x greater than 0 is the condition. If the condition is true means action 1 is positive number. Action 2, if the condition false means, if the condition is false means it is negative number. All of you understood? For the selection control statement, there should be one condition. Depend upon the condition, which statement will want to be executed will be determined. Okay, the order of execution will be determined with the help of this condition. If this condition is true, this statement. If the condition is false, this statement. Okay, mainly in the programming languages for sequential statements, you are going to study about if, else, the nested if, all these things you will study in the selection control statements. Okay, see this example, so you will get the clear idea. First, here the program is to check greater among two numbers. You want to find which number is greater between two numbers. Okay, so how many inputs required? Two inputs. So how many variables required? Two variables. First start, then read two values a comma b. These two are the variables used to store the numbers. For example, your 10 is, a is 10 and b is 5. Now compare, or if a greater than b, a greater than b. So what's the a value here? 10 greater than 5. Condition true or false? This is the condition. This is the condition here. A greater than b. So 10 greater than 5. True or false? True. If it is true, means it will print the statement a is big. You have to print the statement a is big. Suppose your a value is 5 and b value is 15. Now what will happen? A value a 5 greater than 15. Condition is false. False means what will happen? It will execute the else statement, the next statement. Okay, if the condition is true, this statement. If the condition is false, it will print b is big. All of you got it? So this is the way of sequential selection control statement will work. Depend upon the control, depend upon the condition, the control will be changes. Okay. The next one is iteration. This is very important in the building blocks of algorithm and your further upcoming programming logics. What is iteration? The other name of iteration is repetition and looping. What are the other names? Other names of iteration is repetitions or looping. So the definition of iteration or looping is set of instruction. It is a process of repeating the set of instruction again and again. Okay, looping is nothing but you want to repeat. If you want to, in the first video session, I will explain that you want to add 5 numbers. So 5 times you are repeating the addition process. So if you want to repeat the same process, same set of instruction again and again, at that time we are going for a iteration or looping or repetition. Here there are 2 types of loops are there, or 2 types of iterations are there. One is count control iteration, second one is condition controlled iteration. What is count control iteration? For example, I want to add 5 numbers. So I want to repeat the instruction only for 5 times. I know the count, how many times the iteration will be going to execute. That type of condition, that type of iteration is known as count control. If you know the number of times the set of statements going to execute, is called as count control. Okay, normally in Python the count control is, you can use for loop. Okay, then condition control iteration. So in the condition control iteration, there should be one condition like sequential control statement. Here also one condition will be there. Till the condition satisfied, the set of instruction will be executed again and again. What's the difference between count and condition? Count means we know how many number of times it's going to execute, 5 or 10 or 15. In the condition control, one condition will be there if I less than 10. So I value is started from 1 means 10 times, like that it will be executed. Till the condition false, the set of statements will be executed. Okay. Here the main important thing is looping step. How to write the logic for looping. Okay, if you are write the looping concept means, or iteration concept means, there are 3 important things are there. First one is initialization. What is initialization? Assigning the value to the variable. For example, I equal to 1. then n equal to 10. The meaning is you are assigning the 1 to I. You are assigning the value 1 to I. So this initialization is nothing but, you are going to writing the logic, right? You want to know where you want to start and where you want to end. So I want to write the iteration. I want to start the iteration from the value 1 and I want to stop the iteration when it reaches n. So in the initialization step, you have to find the start value and the end value should be assigned. We have to assign the starting value and the ending value in the initialization time. Then we need one condition. What's the need of condition? Otherwise, if in these three, if we skip any one, it will be an infinite loop. Initialization, condition, increment, decrement. In these three, if you skipped or if you left any one, it will be an infinite loop. What is infinite loop? Your process never ends. It is repeated again and again. It never ends. Okay. So for stopping the condition, for stopping the iteration, we required one condition. At one point of time, the repetition, the looping want to be stopped. For that, we need the condition. So the condition is, for example, I less than equal to n. So what's the value of I here? 1. Less than equal to 10. Okay. So how many times the loop will be executed? 10 times the loop will be executed. At first the I value is 1. Then we have to increment or decrement it. Otherwise, again the condition will, again the loop will be infinite. What is increment? Increment is nothing but add by 1. Add by 1. What is decrement? Subtract by 1. Add by 1. Decrement is subtract by 1. So, depend upon the looping strategy, you have to use increment or decrement. Here, just think about it. At which time the loop will be stops? The I value also want to be 10. When the I value is also 10 and the n value is also 10 means at that time the loop will be stopped. Okay. So whether we have to use increment or decrement? We have to use increment. So every iteration you have to increment the I value. So at first the I value is 1, second the I value is 2, third the I value is 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, like that 10 times the loop will be executed. Once the condition falls, it will come out of the loop. So three important things you have to know in the looping concept. First, initialization. Initialization is nothing but finding the starting position, where you want to start the loop and where you want to end. I want to start the loop from 1 to end. Condition. Without condition, your loop will be infinite. So for breaking the condition, at one point of view, you have to stop this condition, so that will be the loop will be ended. For that, increment or decrement will be required. Okay. Now we can see one example. Sum of n numbers. What is sum of n numbers? For example, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 plus 10. I want to add 10 numbers. Okay. This is the sum of n numbers. I want to add n numbers. Here my n value is 10. N is 10. So what it mean? I want to add the numbers from 1 to 10. So depend upon this, keep it in your mind this and write the logic first. Start. Okay. First start the algorithm. Then read the value of n. So read means get the input for n. My input is here 10. Now what's the n value? 10. Okay. Then initialize or set, initialize or assign I equal to 1. Why I am putting I equal to 1? See, initialization is nothing but fixing the starting position. Here where the starting position is there? I want to add 1 to 10. So my I value is 1. This is I. That's what I put I equal to 1. Then sum equal to 0. Why the variable is required sum? Already I told you can't able to save the value directly. We need a variable. For storing the answer, you are adding 1 with 1. You are adding 1 with 2, then 2 with 3, sorry, 1 with 2, 3, then 3 plus 3, then 6 plus 4, like that you are adding. Okay, the answer want to be stored in one place. For that, I am using this sum variable. Then why I am putting 0? For removing the junk values. That means already anything stored in the variable means it will remove, and any number added with 0, what will happen? You will get the same number. 0 plus 1, it is 1. 0 plus 2, it is 2. So you can put 0 here. Okay, for sum you can put 0. Okay, all of you understood? Initialize I equal to 1 starting position. For storing the answer, some variable required. Where the end point is n is 10. Now you have to write the condition. Okay, you are going for a looping statement. You are going to use a while loop or for loop. So first step, initialization is over. Here initialization is over. Then what's the next step? You have to write the condition. For writing the condition, see here, repeat the steps. What is looping? You want to repeat the steps again and again. So repeat these two steps, 4.1 and 4.2, until it reaches, I value reaches n. What's the I value here? I value is 1. What's the n value? 10. So till I value reaches 10, these two steps will be repeated again. That is looping. Okay. So at first, what's the I value? What's the I value here? 1, right? So sum equal to, what's the sum value? Sum equal to, sum is 0, right? 0 plus 1. What's the next step? I equal to I plus 1. It is increment. Add by 1. What is increment? Add by 1. You are adding 1 with the I value. So I equal to I plus 1. Already I is 1. Now 1 plus 1 means 2. So now the I value is 2. So now the I value is 2. 2 less than 10. Again plus 2. Again I is sum plus 1. So inside the sum 1 is there. 1 plus 2. Again increment. I value is changed as 3. So sum equal to 2 plus 3. Again increment. I equal to I plus 1. 4. So again you are adding with sum. Till that it will reach 10. Once the I value reaches 10, 10 less than equal to 10. Whether the condition true or false. I less than equal to 10. The condition is false here. Once the condition false, it's come out of the loop and it will execute the next statement which is present in the loop. Okay. So this 4.1 and 2 comes under the loop. Okay. When the condition reaches 10 less than equal to 10, at that time it will be false. So it will come out and print the sum. So inside this sum, your total answer is there. 1 to 10 if you added means you will get the value 55. The 55 is present inside the sum. So you are printing the answer sum. You will get the answer here. Okay. Then stop the algorithm. Okay. So what's the first step? 3 important steps are there. First you have to initialize. You have to set the starting value and the ending value of the loop. Then you have to check the condition. Here condition is I less than equal to n. Till the I value reaches to the n value, you have to repeat these two steps. Once the condition is false, at that time it will come out of the loop and it will print it. All of you got it? What is looping? Then, so this is the looping statements. Okay, iteration control statement. The next one is function. The function you will study in the second unit very clearly. Here I will give the definition of the function. What is function means? Set of instructions to do a particular task. That means function is nothing but you are writing the code. For doing addition, how many lines required? I want to get 2 inputs. I want to calculate the addition. Then I want to store it. Within 4 lines or 3 lines, code is there. I can store it in somewhere. Then whenever required, I can use it. Like that, we will use the function. Function means set of instructions, that is set of codes to do a particular work, addition or subtraction or anything. That is called function. Okay, set of instruction to do a particular task. There are two types of functions are there. One is predefined function and another one is user defined function. What is predefined function? Predefined function means while developing the Python itself, lot of programs already they wrote and stored in the folders. We say it is a directories, libraries, modules, package, like that we say. We told, okay. So lot of programs are already they wrote basic programs and they stored in the directories. We can utilize that with the help of the file name. That is called as predefined function. By calling the function, by using the function name, we can utilize that. Similarly, user defined function means we can develop our own program and store it in your program and used for different purposes. That is called as user defined function. I hope you understand these things. I will give the overview first. What are the things you studied in the building blocks of algorithm? First statements, then state, then control flow. Inside the control flow, sequential control flow, then selection control flow, then iterations, then you studied about the function. Okay, I hope you all understand this. Thank you, students.